Hey there folks, and welcome back to the channel. It hasn't been too long since I uploaded, right? Okay, maybe it's been a little bit. That's my bad. Be 100% transparent, I switched shifts and have been working a lot of hours, and it's just led to a lot of burnout. So even the things that I'm passionate about, aka this YouTube channel, I haven't really been having any time to work on it. And it kind of stinks, but that'll change us today. You know what? I'm putting my, excited pants back on, and I'm making videos again. And what I really want to talk about today are the best games, or my ranking, I would say, of the games I played this year in 2024. Now, there's something I want to emphasize. These are not all games that came out in 2024, but games that I played in 2024. And I want to also just throw out right here, these are the list of all the games that I replayed. These are the replayed games. I don't know, kind of crazy actually to think about that I replayed all of these video games, but kind of cool at the same time. And also right here are all the list of games that I just actively am playing, that have just eaten up some of my time of 2024, but I didn't necessarily start playing this year. So with that out of the way, let's go jump into the list, which is actually number 20, because it turns out I played exactly 20 brand new games this year. Let's get into it. I can honestly say that Deadlock was a huge surprise to me, that it's going to be my least favorite game that I played this year. I put about 70 hours into Deadlock pretty quickly when the game first launched, and it was an amazing experience. I loved every second of the game when I was playing it. However, I took about a 2-week break from playing the game because of the fact that I just had other obligations. And then it quickly turned into just such a nightmare trying to keep up with the constant changes they're making in the game. One thing worked this week, now it doesn't work that week. It is a game in early access for sure, but they've immediately just nuked any player base that is trying to play it in a casual sense. And I'm guessing that's kind of what they want. They want people that are really going to dig their teeth into it and figure out the flaws and when it gets officially released. But it became such a nightmare trying to keep up. I am a casual at that game, and you cannot play Deadlock casually at all. And it's really sad, because I had such a fun time with it. I think the aesthetic's really cool. I think the game's pretty, but it's pretty lame that I can't play it if I don't play it every single day, because otherwise you just fall off so bad and have no idea what you're doing. That's not fun for me, so unfortunately Deadlock has to be my least favorite game this year. So, Fable Anniversary is 19. I gotta say, replaying this game, I know I said I wouldn't replay games, I wouldn't count those, but I do have to keep this one on there because of the fact that it was so much worse than I remembered. At the time, it was really novel because, you can have sexual intercourse. However, that really kind of doesn't change the fact that the combat's very bland, the game was super buggy, and overall the story pacing was not only bad, but also pretty mediocre. I mean, just the whole story was mediocre. I didn't really feel compelled to enjoy any part of this game. And that sucks because I had such fond memories of it. However, I will say, the reason why this beats Deadlock is because there's this character in the game named Lady Grey, and it kind of looks like my friend's mom. So I can officially say Number 18 is going to be Sparking Zero. Now, I don't hate this game, I just think it's undeniably mid. Sparking Zero is basically a recreation, or the idea of a spiritual successor to one of my favorite game series of all time, which is Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi games. But these games run like doo-doo. My computer is very nice. You are seeing what it looks like starting up. And if that wasn't enough, overall, this game is just lacking a lot of content. These games are designed to be unbalanced, so they're power scaled like the anime, which just makes things very frustrating when you try to play online. So it's best to just play the story modes and play with your friends where you can kind of agree on things. The problem is that the story mode in this game is a slideshow, as what you're seeing right now, so that stinks. And even though the game is exceptionally beautiful, it really doesn't save itself from being anything other than just a middle of the road arena fighting game that's just lacking content. Honestly, it's the first of its series, and I think that maybe later we'll see better Sparking Zero games, or maybe they add more content. But as of right now, the game is just pretty bare bones, and it's pretty sad to see, because I was really, really excited for this game. Not a bad game, just overall pretty mid. Yeah, you saw that right. We're just gonna go ahead and speed run these next ones, because these next ones are totally fine games. I just don't really have a lot to say about them, and rather than sitting here and making every single one, we're to just save a whole bunch of time. Number 17, we're looking at Octopath Travelers 2. That was a fun game. I think the game is gorgeous, music's great, I think that the overall characters are really fun. I think the game suffers from the combat not being very interesting. I think that especially when you get into later gameplay, you get these horribly long, exaggerated fights for just every middle of the road encounter. That stinks. I don't like that. That takes way too long. The end game's way too grindy. Fun game overall, just it's pretty low on the list. Next, we got Signalis. Signalis is a survival horror game. Really fun game. Super nostalgic. Kind of feels like an original style Resident Evil game. Really cool. I think that overall it's not very long. I also think overall that the game is just it's kind of ugly at times, and I get that's kind of like its whole shtick, but I don't exactly appreciate that. I think that what this game really suffers from, though, is that it has these obnoxious first-person modes where you have to like puzzle solve, but the camera moves at like 3 frames a sec. It's just terribly slow. The camera's terribly slow. Don't like that. Ruins the pacing of the game. Always hated those sections. Overall fun game, though. Number 15, we got It Takes Two. It Takes Two, fun 3D platformer, super fun just to go ahead and play with a friend. It is impossibly boring to play by yourself. You really can't play by yourself. Don't like that. You had to sit there and coordinate with somebody. That's a lot of effort, especially on my schedule. So I think the game is a masterpiece. It really sucks because I'm a lonely, sad individual. Frowny face. Next, we got Custom Robo, number 14. Custom Robo is the only new retro game, I would say, like truly retro, going back to the GameCube. And this is my very first time playing it, and it was a blast. I had a really good time with it. Absolutely fun little game where you build these little robots, so I'll do these different little things, and then you fight in this little 3D arena. Super fun, super interesting. Story's okay, but I think overall the gameplay is a little bit repetitive. Definitely be a lot more fun with friends. Number 13, we have Liar's Bar. Liar's Bar is Liar's Deck and Liar's Dice put into this first-person view of anthropomorphic animals. I will say it's really fun, but you have a very real reaction when you're playing Russian roulette after getting called out as a liar in that game. It's a fun game. Enjoy it for what it's worth, but it's also, there's not much to it. It's just a good old time with friends. Number 12 is going to be Black Ops 6. I really liked Black Ops 6 Zombies. Zombies was fun, but I really didn't play anything else of Black Ops 6. I really don't have any desire to play anything else of Black Ops 6. Oh my gosh, this speedrun's hard. So we have to continue on. Like, the problem is when you're just looking at with zombies, I found myself not wanting to play because of the fact that, like, it takes hours sometimes to finish a run of zombies, and while that's great and it's entertaining, no matter how fun that game mode is, it's always a big commitment. I find myself not wanting to play because I don't want to commit to that whole chunk of time, and that's not great. Number 11, we have Brutal Legends. Technically a game I've played before, but I had never finished it. It is a super fun game where the main character is voiced by Jack Black, where you play in a world that's completely inspired by metal. Super, super fun. Had a great time with it. I think that the story is a little bit lackluster, mainly because of the fact that it seems like the end of the game gets crushed down very quickly, and the story beats kind of fall apart at the end of it, where it could have had more time devoted to the single-player aspect of the game. They added a multiplayer, which unfortunately nobody played, and made the game feel a little bit rushed, kind of sad. Overall, fun game though. Did enjoy it. Number 10, we have Pilgrim. Pilgrim is a indie game. It is much like Lethal Company. However, this game is more medieval style, where you're dealing with different kind of monsters. And unlike Lethal Company, you can save your progress in this one. Very good time, super short game. Unfortunately, it's 4 players, the same thing with Lethal Company. I think the biggest drawback with this is that because you can save your game, when you go back to the game, you have a tendency to get the same kind of spawn points, where it's like, oh, you go to this planet, and it's like the same thing, like when you do in Lethal Company, but that over and over and over again while you're still making progress. So if you don't play the game in just one continuous run, you miss seeing the later stuff in it. Kind of strange, whatever. Number 9, Hi-Fi Rush. Very fun hack and slash game, kind of like a Devil May Cry, but you have to really time your attacks to the beat of the song that's playing in the game. Very interesting, very hard in execution. I feel like it was a game I definitely should have played with headphones on, but I really just played it over the TV. And it was fun, played one playthrough of it. It deserves more of that, but I really couldn't find myself to play it more than the one time. I really should. Not fair to that game. Number 8 is Sonic Frontiers. Really had a great time with Sonic Frontiers. Fun game, overall, good execution. It is the Breath of the Wild of Sonic. However, when you get to that, you have weird things. The game kind of looks like Sin sometimes. It's like if somebody just took a Gary's mod and made a Sonic world out of it. It looks exceptionally odd. Well, the game's overall fun. It really has to. You suspend your disbelief a lot when you're just hanging around in this world. I don't know. Good game, good time. Very strange. Very strange. Whew, that was a lot of games. We'll move on now. Number 7 is Persona 5 Royal. And now this game is a JRPG, and I think you can just tell that it's a JRPG by looking at it. I'm pretty sure. It's an amazing game. It's turn-based for the most part, but it has basically 2 aspects of the game. You have the game where you're just a normal day high school student, building relationships with friends, with family, and everything else, like your random neighbor doctor who's weirdly hot. But also, it's just overall one of the best, most fleshed out, perfected forms of turn-based combat there's ever been. Persona 5 soundtrack is honestly some of the best video games has to offer, and it's truly, truly a masterpiece. I honestly put Persona 5 Royal probably like in one of my favorite games of all time. The only reason I'm going to go ahead and put it down at 7 is because of the fact that I played this game before, kind of. Because I played Persona 5 Vanilla when that game came out, and I didn't play Royal for a long time to come afterwards. My main reason for not wanting to was just because I kind of knew what most of the game was going to be. But I'll admit that overall the game adds enough to make it really unique from Persona 5 Vanilla, and it was a really fun time. But it'd feel wrong to put that above other games because of the fact that, for the most part, for 70 hours of this 95-hour experience for me, I had played this game before. So I have to dock it a few points for that. But it's still, trust me, if you've never played Persona, it's amazing. Great RPG, great dating sim, social simulator, I guess. And then it's just, the music is so good. It's just jamming. Honest to God, Persona 5, one of the best games ever made. If you haven't played it, go play it. Number 6 is going to be GTA 4. Not Grand Theft Auto 6 is number 4. GTA 4 is number 6. I swear to God, I've actually re-recorded this like 17 times. I don't want to screw it up again. I've accidentally said the wrong thing so many times. I just don't want to do it again. So listen. Grand Theft Auto 4 is a great game. It's really fun. I never played it before. I kind of missed it. It was just like a little bit awkward timing for me of when it's released and when I got a 360. And I kind of doubt my parents would have actually let me have it in the first place. But I mean, it's Grand Theft Auto, man. You drive cars, you rob people, you do awful, terrible things, irredeemable things the entire time. The game's from 2009, but still looks like this. But it also looks like this. So like, I don't know, man. It's one of the, like, I don't know if it's aged well or not, but for me, it was a really great time. The story was really engaging. The gunplay's, but the driving's just, it's Grand Theft Auto driving. It feels, perfect, great. Story's great. Driving's great. Graphics are good. Not that, though. That's not good. I don't know what that is. I don't want to look at that anymore. But, and the gunplay's aged for his time. Overall, really fun game. Just doesn't quite make my top 5. Just because if I probably had a little more nostalgia for it, it probably would. Let's be honest. Moving on, though. Number 5, we're in top 5, is Monster Hunter Worlds. I missed this game when it came out, and then I didn't play it for a couple years afterwards because I felt a little scorned by the fact that I missed it. And that's my own fault that I missed it. I could have played it when it came out, but it came out a month after Smash Ultimate. I'm like, what am I going to do then? How am I going to... my priorities were set. I was going to play Ultimate. But I finally did give Monster Hunter World a try, and I obviously loved it. It's a masterpiece. It's a great video game. I love other Monster Hunters, so there's no surprise that I love easily the best Monster Hunter ever made. It's like, oh, duh, of course you're gonna love it. If you haven't played Monster Hunter before, it's literally go fight Big Monster, use the parts that you carve off of Big Monster to create better weapons and armor, to go fight even bigger monster. Repeat, repeat, repeat. And it sounds a little dull, but I promise you, as you learn to fight a monster super effectively, and you're just knowing the ins and outs so well, it's just an incredibly addictive gameplay loop. Man, it's so good, and it's just pretty as all heck, man. It's so pretty looking. I gotta say, man, such a great time. I had such a good time with Monster Hunter Worlds. I will say the DLC is pretty bogus because it just takes so long to fight anything, and that's kind of what made me drop the game. And I'll be honest, if it wasn't for the DLC, this game would be a lot higher because I don't want to spend 45 minutes to fight a single monster that I have to fight 4 times to get the piece of armor I'm looking for. That's not what I'm into. And that's why Monster Hunter World's at 5 and not number 1 this year, because I mean, maybe 1's a stretch, but is it though? I don't know. Monster Hunter World's great. If you haven't played a Monster Hunter game, this is the one to start with. Go give it a try. My number 4 this year is an indie platformer called Pseudo Regalia. This game's amazing. It's just amazing. It is one of the most fun and entertaining 3D platformers I've ever played, and it is undoubtedly the best controlling one I have ever played. It is so beautiful. This gameplay footage you're seeing is me picking up and playing the game for the first time in like 5-6 months, and it still like looks this fluid, and you can make it look way better than I'm doing it right now. It's Metroidvania style. You don't start with everything unlocked. You gradually build up. This file is my second play that I just played through it again because I loved it so much. And I would put this game way higher because like I was just playing this game running around with no objectives because it felt so good to actually move in this game. I haven't done that since I was a kid. No objectives. Just running around the map. Just having a blast. But it's only 8 hours long. It's not long. It's a short game, but it is a short game that it's worthy of your time. If you have $6, go try this game because I swear to God, you're going to have a great time. You're going to have a great time if you play this game. I promise. I guarantee you. Just go play it. Go play it. Spend 6 hours of your life. $6 of your life. Go play this phenomenal video game. It's worth every minute of it. Alright, number 3, bronze medal. It's going to Rivals of Aether 2. I think a lot of people would probably expect me to put this at like the top of my list because, let's be honest, it's the game I have the most hours in this year. I have put easily the most hours into any video game. It's Rivals 2. And this game came out in October or November, and I have 100 plus hours on it, and it's like the end, it's just barely the end of December, and I'm like, oh, that was really fast. I really like this game. I think the only thing holding it back for me is, so it's a platform fighter. I've played every platform fighter under the sun. I've played them all. I've competed in a large variety of them. This game is buttery smooth, and I think that there's nothing wrong with overall gameplay. There's obviously some tweaks that will be made, maybe to the tweaks to online, the tweaks to overall, like some of the characters. I'm not worried about any of that. I think that Rivals 2 easily could be in the worst state it's ever going to be in right now, and will only get better. But the only reason this game is so low on my list is because platform fighters and fighting games in general for me are like junk food. I mean, you play this fighting game, it feels great. You're like, oh yeah, man, that's a great dopamine hit that I just got. But it's not like a full meal. And so I need a game that is inherently Doritos, because I love me some Doritos. But to put it at like my number 1 favorite game of the year feels wrong. It just does. And as much as I love me some Doritos, I'm going to save the steak for my 1 and 2 slots this year. This will easily be the game I play the most of next year. It's just, I will continue to play this game, and I'll probably stream a bunch of it soon. So, subscribe and, hit the like and all that old fancy stuff. Haven't plugged that yet. You should go do that if you want to come see some more Rivals 2 content, because it's coming. I promise, it's coming. Alright, moving on to number 2. Hey, actually, we're not moving on to number 2 just yet. I just want to say something real quick. If you're looking at this and you're like, well, this gameplay looks like terrible. This looks awful. This guy is trash. That's how I feel. I've gotten so much better than this that I'm playing right now. Please, I swear to God, I'm not the same player I was. I look awful in this gameplay, and I apologize. I promise it'll look better. It'll look better if you come subscribe. I promise you. Number 2 silver medal goes to Persona 3 Reload. I already talked about a Persona game at number 7 on this list. And everything about this game, I just like a little bit more than Persona 5. And then like also, this is my first real experience with Persona 3 was this year. So I'm just, that's why it gets number 2 over Persona 5. You know, I could go into more detail about it, but I've been working on this video for a long time now. And I don't really feel like getting footage from my Xbox, which I have this game downloaded on, to be able to get you the footage instead of just this box art. I'm just going to be real with you. I mean, I already explained what made 5 good. This one's just everything that made 5 good. Just so I like it a little bit more. Moving on to number 1. It's a great game, though, I promise. I'm just tired working on this. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is my number 1 this year. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is amazing. And I'm going to have a really hard time. You know what? I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. This is probably the 18th time I've recorded just this intro, or to just try to get into words how amazing this game is. But I'm just going to go through some bullet points. The storyline is amazing. The music is a masterclass in video games. The characters are all really well fleshed out. The voice acting is very, very good. And the game is beautiful as beautiful can be. Final Fantasy VII as a story is one of my favorite video game stories of all time. This section of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, because it's a remake trilogy, is my favorite part of Final Fantasy VII. It's like so good. Everything about it's just so good, man. I mean, the gameplay is amazing. It's hard. I can't do this. I just start becoming a gushing mess every time I talk about this game. I just can't. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. It makes me feel so many feelings that I just felt like I couldn't be like made to feel by a video game anymore. And here I am playing this game that's hitting with nostalgia, despair, hope, joy, love, all of this stuff in a game that has just some of the most fluid mechanics that's just ever been in a video game. And then if all of that wasn't enough, they have this card game in the game called Queen's Blood, and I'm a sucker for card games. I love card games, and this is a really good card game / board game. It's just, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is everything I could possibly want in a video game. And I mean this very sincerely. If the next of the remake trilogy is as good as either of these two parts, let's say it's just a little bit worse than Rebirth, and which is how I kind of feel about Remake, which is the first one in this trilogy, it's the best trilogy of video games ever made. It just is. It's so good. I mean, I can't do it justice because I would just gush for an hour about this game, and in the interest of your guys' ear, I'm already rambling, and I know it, so I'm just gonna stop right there. Final Fantasy VII is my Rebirth. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is my game of the year, and it might just be my favorite video game of all time. So, yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. I want you guys to sound off in the comments about your favorite games you played this year. I'd love to hear about them. It would make me very, very happy. Let me know. And with that, I hope you guys have a wonderful 2025. Getting this up on New Year's Eve is my game plan, and I hope I didn't miss it. I don't think I missed it, but you guys have a wonderful new year. Thank you for watching this far into the video. Just enjoy yourselves. Remember, treat people the way you want to be treated. Bye-bye.